Check, check. Might need to turn this one down a bit. And adjust this camera. Framing, not as much. Oh, back to chat. Hi dancers, good evening. How are you all doing tonight? Oh, good evening. Good evening. Finished your roof. Nice job, nice job. You had troubles with leaks, dancers? Oh, nice, nice, nice. Free wood is always nice. Ah, all right. But you were able to fix it yourself. Yep. Yeah, I just recorded some clips for the upcoming video, and I mentioned that having two handles here would be much easier, but I have to sort out this center section. I have a couple of totes from old planes here, so I can Let's think about this for a moment. can I put them in such a way? Yeah, I think I need to make an adapter plate. Let's see. Oh no, that one is broken. I think these would be perfect. Yeah, I have to figure something out. Yeah, I think just a square plate of some sort. Screw these to the plate and just 4 self-tapping screws at either side of that central piece. Maybe, but I don't think, not today. How do they call it? Too busy to improve. Oh. Oh. Let's flip it over and get rid of most of the dust. But maybe just round handles would be better, I think. So I can flip. Yeah, it's not really necessary, maybe. Is this... No, it's non-directional sandpaper, so that shouldn't matter. Thanks, dancers. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's starting to grow on me. I love the inlay. The edges, the orange edges, aren't as consistent as I would have liked them to be, but maybe once the radius is in, then I can fully evaluate how it turned out. And maybe I'll address some of the edges at a later stage. First I have to get in the radius. Hi Paul, good evening. Sorry chat, if my vacuum was too loud. Yeah, let me know guys how the volume is. I've turned down my main mic, and my lavalier mic here should pick up my voice. And maybe I could do yeah, dancers, the fret slots are already in. Hard to see because now they're filled with dust, but yeah, because it's a bound fretboard, the binding is already on the fretboard. So I had to cut the fret slots. Yeah, it's a 12-inch radius beam. Oh, we talked about this yesterday, Devil's Advocate, during the premiere of yesterday's video. Let's see. And this is also a first for me, using a jig like this. In the past I always radiused the fretboard when the fretboard was already on the neck. But I wanted to give this a try if it's easier and faster and maybe more accurate. Thank you, Devil's Advocate. How wide is the fretboard? It's 43 millimeters right here, and I even don't know. I've measured it 1,000 times, but I can't recall. No, I can't. So approximately 85 at the end of 58. So 43 to 58. Yeah, I know. Some have a pneumatic sander attached, but it makes too much noise. But I don't mind the work. It doesn't take that long, and this gives me an opportunity to do a quick little live stream. Maybe if I had to do 10 a day, then I would get into machines or something, or look into a mechanical solution. But for now, when doing only one, this works just fine. Yeah, maybe unpredictable, maybe, I don't know. If you have something that could do the back and forth motion for you, I think it will help. As long as if you can have a jig like this, it should be fine. And of course there are people who use a plane to get the radius. Others use only leveling beams. I've seen sanders with a hollowed out, is it convex roll that has a diameter, and of course you have those routing jigs to help you route the radius. There are all kinds of solutions. Yeah, and this is a good workout. I've even been thinking about maybe having a custom spindle made with a radius in it, so I can use a sander to feed through a fretboard and to get the correct radius. But machines also take up space. Yeah, if you route the radius, you still need to sand the fretboard as well. But it will drastically cut down on time, because you do the main radius and the majority of the material you remove it with a router, and then you only have to use some fine sandpaper to get rid of the router marks. But it is possible to do it with a router. But because I have big aluminum inlays, I don't want to have a router bit grab hold of a piece of aluminium and rip the entire fretboard apart. So for me, routing isn't an option. It's something I have been thinking about because the routing jig itself doesn't take up that much space and I have plenty of routers. But just the idea of a router bit grabbing hold of a piece of the inlay or a piece of my fretboard and ripping chunks out of my fretboard isn't that appealing to me. Well, there's not much you can screw up with sandpaper, especially because it's such a slow going process, and especially with a jig like this that you're always sanding in a straight line and there's almost no, how do you call it, rocking possible within this jig because it fits in nice and snug. So you get a pretty good result at your first go. And of course you can use calipers and check your progress. I like to check the four corners of the fretboard once in a while to check if I'm not skewed to one side, and you see me marking the fretboard with pencil, and this allows me to keep track of where I'm removing material and where the fretboard is still flat. So if I see my marks disappear equally on each side of the fretboard and over the entire length, then I know I'm pretty straight and I'm doing a pretty good job. Oh, come on. And clean your sandpaper, guys, so it doesn't get clogged. No, I haven't calculated anything dances with wolves or with aardvarks. I rarely calculate anything on a guitar. It's mostly experience. And I usually want all the four corners to have the same height. And that's basically the only thing I'm looking at. So now I've checked the four corners and I can see that these two are of course lower than the ones at the nut, so I know I can just keep sanding straight. Although I'm here at the 12-inch radius already, and here is still a flat spot coming from, I think, the 13th fret. There's still a bit of a flat spot here in the middle, but I know I have to keep sanding evenly, get the fretboard down over the entire length. There are two ways yeah, Edith, better. Sorry guys, I got distracted by chat. Yeah, there are those jigs as well for a big belt sander. I think the way Fender, etc. used to do it. Yeah, in the past they used to do it. These days it's just CNC machines spitting out, or maybe even specialized thicknesses. Yeah, with a late no thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah, where was I? I was talking about calculating the height. For me it's just experience. I want to, like I said, all the four corners of the fretboard to be even, so even height. And that means that I have to sand the entire fretboard down evenly. And there are two ways of doing it. Like I said, I'm here already at the 12-inch radius. Now I could of course sand the entire fretboard at a slight angle. So I'm going to focus on the 24th fret more, so adding more pressure on the end of the fretboard when sanding. So I create a slight slope. It will be a nice 12-inch radius all the way through, but of course I have to compensate that slope with my neck angle when the guitar is done. And what I like to do, I would like to keep the sides of the fretboard an even height. And you can see the difference on several guitars. Some manufacturers do it like I said, they create an even radius, and usually at the end of the fretboard is slightly thinner than it is at the nut. And I like to do it the other way around. I like it to have a consistent thickness throughout the fretboard. If that makes sense. It's a bit hard to explain in a chat and in a video without graphics and in English. Jillbeck, it's a radius block from Guitars and Woods. Look them up. Just Google Guitars and Woods. They're a Spanish or a Portuguese company, I believe. No, I can't recall if they're Spanish or Portuguese. I think Portuguese. And they have a web shop and they ship, I think, worldwide, but at least in Europe. Yeah, Guitars and Woods. It's Guitar and Woods. Ooh. It smells nice. Oh, yeah, nice. Unfortunately, I had the same idea. Only with a laser cutter. Nope. I'm not sure about my favorite, but my least favorite wood smell at the moment is the obsidian ebony I used for the other fretboard for this guitar building series. You could really smell the resin in that one, and something I don't like. And maybe, what was it called? It was the hardwood I used for the foundation of my shed. What was it called? But when wet it smelled like dog you know what. That was my least favorite smell, and I'm happy that I no longer can smell it. I can't though. English. I can no longer smell it. That's the correct English. Oh wow. Huh? I wish you guys could see this. But there's a nice light pattern appearing in the ebony. I'm going to try and show you guys. Hold on. Hopefully the camera picks this up. But there's a smoke-like pattern appearing in the ebony that wasn't as defined before I started sanding. I knew there was some lighter color in this fretboard, but it's not as much as this. Good stuff. And a good opportunity to flip the fretboard around. It's also something I like to do, to flip the fretboard around once in a while, because we humans have a tendency to have a certain deviation in our motion and in the pressure we apply, and by flipping it around we can counter that. How do you say it? Immediate that? Man, sometimes my English sometimes, guys. Yeah, pine, of course. A car salesman's favorite smell. Pine. Counter or alleviate. Alright. Thank you, devil's advocate. Yeah. That's the thing, guys. I can read and understand English fluidly. I can, but as soon as you have to speak it, sometimes you feel like a toddler, because in the back of your mind you know the correct vocabulary, you know the grammar, but as soon as you have to speak, all gets lost. Especially when you have to speak on camera, and in my videos I can do a dozen retakes, but live, nope. And usually my brain runs faster than my mouth, and then I get stuck halfway a sentence. Yeah, Guibek, yeah, it's so different because, like you said, fluent in listening, in writing and reading. I read a lot of books in English without any problem. I had a job that was mostly in English, but for some reason, and it varies day by day. If I'm more tired, then the speech starts to struggle. Maybe it's time for a better sound card. The processor is running faster than the sound card is producing the sound. And guys, I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but you can see the pencil marks disappearing fairly evenly across the entire length or over the entire length of the fretboard, and that means there's no real dips, bumps or humps in the fretboard anymore, and I have a fairly consistent radius sanded in. This fretboard is ebony. It's flamed ebony. So guys, you can see with just a couple of passes the pencil is nearly gone, except for a tiny bit here at the end where there's still a slight flat spot. Yeah, Siricota also nice to work with. Watch out for soft spots. It can have soft spots, but I'm not too sure about AliExpress though. Not a huge fan. I'm almost there, I think. All right, all right. Looking good, looking good. Looking very, very good. Yeah, I think this jig was a good thing to use. It's much more consistent than what I used to do, sanding in the radius by hand when it's already attached to the neck. Would white rosewood be good for a fretboard? Yeah, I think so. If it's hard enough. Essentially every wood that's hard enough, comparable to ebony or to regular rosewood, can be used for a fretboard. I've made a fretboard out of oak, bog oak, this piece to be exact. Yeah, and this piece, the piece of oak, was a bit too soft. I had troubles with doing the fretwork. The frets keep popping out. And I had to stabilize it a bit. But other than that, make sure it has a nice and very tight grain pattern. And the oak was a bit too open grain structure. The grain structure was too loose, too open. But everything with a tight grain structure, and that's very hard, can be used in theory for a fretboard. And otherwise, you can do a lot with resins and strengthening and treating the wood. Oh. Yes, Mat 1. Yes, I try to keep each side of the fretboard at an even thickness. So that means I have to sand off more at the nut side than I do at the bridge side. But yeah, I think it's nicer to look at when especially the sides. Oh, there's two cameras, of course. When the sides of the fretboard are even along the entire length of the fretboard. I think it just looks better. And that separates my fretboard from the one that's coming from CNC machines. Because they will have the taper. Usually. So I'm almost there, guys, almost there, and then I have to go up in grids. And I think I might switch to 180 before I'm to the final shape and thickness. Just to get rid of all the scratches in the aluminium made by the 120 grit sandpaper. Yeah, the last of the pencil disappeared right here. So it's time to switch sandpaper grids. And I'm going to use my vacuum. So if you can't stand loud noises and you're wearing headphones, I advise you to lower the volume a bit. So, nice and clean workbench. Hup. Hey. Let me see if I can change the camera angle a bit, guys. I have a new rig that should allow me to do stuff like this. And are you guys experiencing any lag from the stream? And oh, I didn't know, don't remove this. Oh. Different sandpaper. Because I'm now streaming over my Wi-Fi connection in the shed. Just to see how that goes. Seems like I'm still live. All right, no stuttering, sound, picture, fine. Yeah. It should be fine. The Wi-Fi connection in the shed should be around 500 Mbit up and down. So that should be more than enough for a live stream, but nope, it doesn't want to come off. It's always a bit of a shame, but maybe I can use this later on. Come on. Yeah, the blue masking tape is less porous. Yeah, we don't have that. Or not widely available here in the Netherlands. At least as far as I know. And this isn't porous at all, but it just sticks very well to the aluminium. Because you can see where the super glue was. And that's removed. That's still attached to the sandpaper, but oh no, this is the masking tape and super glue trick. Only I'm using very good masking tape. That apparently decided to stick very well to this aluminium for some reason. I have to say, usually it's easier to remove, but it speaks for the sanding beam though, that it's nice and flat. And people always ask me why I keep my thumbnails a bit longer. And I always tell them that's for the masking tape. So, nice and clean. And let's, can I use, nope, it's too narrow. Dank u wel. Koffie! Yeah, luckily I don't need lighter fluid. It's a bit of a shame. We just removed masking tape and now we're putting on new. Well, all right. So make sure there are no gaps. Yeah, I try not to use a lot of chemicals if I can help it. Let's see, little knife. All right. Get over here. Yep, dank u wel. Some coffee. And some new piece of sandpaper. So if you want to do it properly, don't cheap out on sandpaper. Come on. Why would you do a thing like that? All right. Some shea glue. What's the brand of sandpaper? It's called Proline Gold. Do I have a piece somewhere? Yeah. Let's see. This is the sandpaper brand. It's Proline Gold. Regular, what is it? 100 mils wide? Oh no, 115 mils wide. So 11.5 centimeters wide, just the regular standard roll size. And they sell it, where I get it is a big German, yeah, how do you call it? DIY, home improvement store, called the Hornbach. It's available, I know it's in Germany, the Netherlands, maybe Poland, I'm not sure. I don't know how big that franchise is. But maybe you can find it elsewhere as well. And it's not too expensive. And it's, I think, a good quality sandpaper for the money. Bosch also makes, yeah, the Nana Yippie Yippie, yeah. Oh, Tim, hi Tim. Yeah. And Bosch, the tool manufacturer, also makes very good, at least has Bosch branded sandpaper. I don't think they manufacture it themselves, because there are only a couple of sandpaper manufacturers in the world. But their branded sandpaper is also very good. Their entire abrasive range, to be honest, is pretty good. Hi Tim, good evening. Back in the country. Yeah, Klingspor is also a very good abrasive brand, a brand of abrasives. It's not widely available here in the Netherlands when it comes to the sandpaper. When it comes to the grinder discs and such, it's a well-known brand. Not as much for the sandpaper. I'm not sure even where to buy it. Where did I put my knife? Oh, it's on the floor. Here we go. And guys, keep those pieces of sandpaper, they will fit your leveling beam. So nice and clean sheet of sandpaper. And I can put this right here. We can stick the fretboard back in place, hopefully. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can. So, something like this maybe. Some coffee. Was Istanbul on a holiday, Tim, or did you have to go there for your job? Just in doing your streams. Oh, thanks, Tim. Thanks. Yeah, long strips. Always long strips of sanding paper. Always useful. Like indeed for sanding necks and such. Leveling beams. Yeah, the best is indeed Giebeck to have cloth-backed sandpaper to do those things. Ooh. First drink my coffee. Good evening, Stanley. Work freaking 35 degrees Celsius. Not that great. Oh. Too snug. Let's give it another try. Yeah, much better. At this stage I'm always very, very careful, at least when I used to do this on the neck, to not overdo it. So I'm going to take a couple of measurements. It's 5.25. The same, so this side looks good. Looks very, very good, guys. Yeah, it definitely is a time saver Hi Mr. Waffles, hi Cliff, good evening. Stanley, Mr. Waffles. Yeah guys, it's looking very good. But I can see there might be a couple of spots of the inlay I have to address. So now it's just cleaning up. The shape is in. So now the only thing I'm doing right now is very carefully removing all the 120 grit sandpaper scratches. So ooh man. There are some, whoa, fairly large scratches, unfortunately, made by the 120 grit sandpaper. Man, oh man. Yeah, Mr. Waffles, it was my intention to do a fretboard radiusing ASMR video, but I can't help to talk over the video. I know I'm not supposed to in an ASMR video, but I can't help talking. Stanley, sort of. It's something you have to keep in mind. Aluminium does sand at a different rate, and I can feel it has a different roughness at the moment from the 120 grit sandpaper. So as long as I'm careful with applying equal pressure, I'm fine. It's always something I was a bit worried about when I did it at the other method of first attaching the fretboard to the neck and then sanding in the radius with the fretboard attached to the neck. I was always a bit scared of creating a bump. And that's why I always did the inlay after radius sanding the fretboard. And another plus of doing it like that, that you can collect the ebony dust to use as filler, which I can't do now because it's contaminated with aluminium and orange dust. But yeah, it's something you have to keep in mind when sanding a fretboard with an inlay in it, whether it's a shell like mother of pearl or abalone or aluminium. You always have to take care that the big inlays sand at a different rate than the surrounding wood. So you have to keep in mind that you don't accidentally create a bump. I wanted to switch this around. And that's another good practice to make sure you're sanding nice and even, is to flip the fretboard once in a while. For example, if you have a tendency of putting too much pressure on your back hand, you can eliminate those differences by flipping your board around once in a while. And guys, this is only, and that's something I always have to remind myself, that this is only radius sanding. This is shaping and not polishing. We're going to make sure the fretboard is nice and flat once it's glued to the neck. Then we take out our leveling beams and we make sure everything is nice and flat. This is just shaping, just getting the radius in and smoothing the fretboard to some extent. Hey Postu. Yes, usually I will save the dust, but now it's contaminated with aluminium, with epoxy resin, with the orange veneer, so I'm not going to save this. I have my jars of dust, and I have plenty of ebony dust right here. So I think it's full to the brim. Yeah, it's almost, oh, where's the camera? Almost full, so no need to save this. I have a whole collection right there. I think you can see it. Damn it. There's a gouge right here. Unfortunately, the rest of the fretboard is nice and smooth, but there's a scratch. So a bit more ASMR sanding. I don't know what's happening, guys. There's a little ridge in the ebony. Let's see. I'm going to quickly use my leveling beam to see if I can get rid of some of the marks I can feel in the fretboard. Yeah, it's gone. Whew. Yeah, looking very good. I still need to remove a bit there. But I have a secret weapon. 240. So on the big leveling beam there is 180 grit, and usually that's fine, but there might have been something stuck in the sandpaper making that little ridge, and then I used a regular leveling beam with just 240 grit. And the 240 grit of this brand of sandpaper in particular is very good. So I also have a smaller radius block for these purposes. And where's my masking tape? Here it is. So I'm going to put a finer grit of sandpaper on this block and then clean up the fretboard. Too short. My knife is right here. Yeah, I've been cutting sandpaper with this knife. So this one's dull. This one isn't. Sandpaper, 220 grit, I think. Let's use 240. Come on, relax. Breathe. Don't rush. No need. Knife. No bubbles, no jet. Yeah guys, I still have to remind myself regularly to keep breathing and to relax. But yeah, old habits is hard to get rid of. No, don't use the good knife to cut sandpaper. And I might do another stream later this week, guys. I might be streaming, I think, next Thursday during the day, and most likely almost the entire day. I have some work for a customer. He wants me to refret one of his guitars and do some electronic works. So I might be doing a refret live stream next Thursday. So keep an eye out. I might be streaming from, I think I might start around 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe a bit later, 10:30. And I might be going the entire day just to stress test my new rig. And guys, if you like to see more of these streams, yeah, make sure to leave a like. And if you really want to support the stream, take a look at that little link right there. You can leave a little tip, and by doing that you support the stream. And I'm aiming to get even a second camera, a better camera, so I can switch angles a bit better to enhance the experience even more. I would highly appreciate your support. And of course you being here. But hey. Let's see if I can get you a bit closer. No. And guys, I don't know if it showed up on camera, but you can see in just a couple of passes all the pencil marks disappeared, and that means that I'm at a consistent radius and the fretboard is pretty flat. Let's check the radius. With the radius, oh well, of course. I have to do that at a later stage, but I think the radius is pretty spot on. Yeah, nice and consistent. All four sides are even, or four corners. Yeah, four sides as well, of course. Yeah. And I'm pretty happy with this so far, but yeah, to be honest with you guys, I still have to shoot a couple of scenes for the video in which I'll also be doing the radius sanding. So for the end result and taking it out of the jig, we'll have to wait for the video. For anyone who couldn't join the live stream, people who like to watch videos more than they do live streams. So, let's get you guys one moment. Oh, almost. Yeah. Hi Owen. Hi Owen. Nice to see you dropping by this late. Oh, I'm going to rearrange the stream a bit to device, camera. So we now no longer need that small camera. Oh. So here's the fretboard, guys. I don't know if you can see it, but the radius is in, and like I said, I can't remove it from the jig right now because I still have a couple of scenes to shoot for the YouTube video. Which I hope to finish this week. I have a pretty busy weekend. Like I said, coming Thursday and Friday I'm most likely working on a client's guitar during the day, and I might do some video editing and shooting YouTube videos during the evening. So some long days ahead. And hopefully I get around to editing the video hopefully Sunday. So hopefully in the coming Monday there will be a video, and if not, people will have some live streams to watch. And yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. I'm a bit tired and a bit thirsty. I hope you liked the stream. I have my radius sanded, and I'm not sure if I'm going to record a couple of clips for YouTube right now or if I'm going to call it a night. It might be healthier to call it a night and go back at it tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I can see my mics are almost empty, so it's a good time to call it a night, guys. If you don't have any more questions, I'm going to call it a night. We've been at it for over 1.5 hours, so yeah, thank you all for joining me. And yeah, like I said, please support this stream by leaving a like, and if you want to support me even more, yeah, buy me a coffee by using that link or sending me a super thanks. It's highly appreciated, and yeah, all donations go back into the channel to improve the stream and my video. So thank you all for your support, thank you all for your questions and joining me in the stream, and I hope to see you all in the next one. But until then, take care and bye bye.